It's showtime. Hello, and welcome back to our weekly reflection. As you saw in the title, is a reflection with a big news, a big announcement. And as you also can see, it's more than two people, three people. We are all five of us here today, and but we're gonna go through the live about the news. First of all, we are starting with the reflection on the topic of the week. And this week, with on this group, Learn Well by New Wellness Education, we work on the topic of learning how to learn. A huge topic, and I find it really interesting to do it, to research and to share it, because it's a personal topic that I work a lot on, that it's a big part of my workflow, a big part of my daily routine as a personal life, but also as a professional life. Focusing on how to deliver training, how to deliver content, how to build and to write projects. And it's important for me to work a lot on what is learning, what is education, how to provide the best environment for the people. And reflecting on what happened the week, what were the content delivered, the insight that I had about the learning, it's about the fact that I find learning a long process. That is having a both side. Sometimes is a difficult side in order to, it takes time before to learn something. And this is because of more with the complex of the topics, it takes time to analyze, to look in the details, what are the all aspects of the topics, and to build up the critical thinking, to build up the strategies in order to assess the specific problem to the learning process. But the other side, what I like about the longness of the process is that I'm learning also to focus on the process, on enjoying the process of learning, not only the result of having a new knowledge, not only the results of seeing people learning a new things, but the full process of delivering a content, the full process of looking people how they are having insight, they are changing the aspects of the life, they are changing the behaviors through the learning, how the learning is shaping the mind, is shaping the also the body posture. When people learn something, where the emotion is changing, the physical aspect is changing, and I'm working to enjoying this about the learning. And this is the biggest insight about this week. Also about me myself during the workshop, how do by sharing things that I believe it's already in my that concept, but by sharing it, by gaining more confidence, also my physical, my breathing, my body is changing and the delivery is changing, and I really enjoy this. Okay, was a short intro about this sharing, about the topic of the week. And before to go on with the next part, connecting with the topic of learning, learning how to learn, and with the topic of education, education on well-being, wellness education, I soon will pass the word to my colleagues, and we are going to reflect on the whole journey up until now. Because already 11 weeks passed, 11 weeks since the beginning of this Learn Well free online learning. More than 2 months ago, when this lockdown / quarantine / mess around the world started, we gathered together in an online way, and we decide what to do, what to build, which kind of space to build in order to keep sharing education, to keep sharing learning environments in a different ways from the one that we were used before. Now the situation is changing. Each country is changing a bit the like the environments, the laws, the what is possible, what is not possible. Seasons are changing, so it's also better to go outside sometimes. So, and also we are receiving feedback. We are also making our strategy plans for the future, and we are planning to also reframe a bit this space, this environment, this group. I'm not spoiling what is happening because we are going to share it beginning of next week, or all the details, because we want to take time in order to explain what are going to be the change, how we are building new spaces. new spaces, also new groups, new situation where to share our learning. And now we would like to share with you what is our own personal insight, what is our own personal learning during this whole week. This is also for you in order to have your own reflection about what did you learn during these weeks. Also connect what did you learn during the lockdown. And again, I like to talk. I'm talking a lot. Before to go to the words to my colleagues, I'm gonna share again a brief what is my own learning in during this lockdown. There is this COVID situation, quarantine, call it whatever you want. And for me, the biggest learning that I had during these 11 weeks, it was about building connections, building connection with myself, with other people, and understanding how all those connections matter for me. How I am not what I am without other people. How I am not what I am without sharing with people, without listening what they do, and I am not what I am without education and without learning. It was a big, strong inside that I want to keep with me. I don't want to start to cry. The ability to build space, to listen to other people, to share with other people, and how much do I need it? How much, as a human being, I need to communicate with other people, and how much I was sharing with my team in the last weeks. How much I find myself dependent, like interdependent with other people. If I'm talking alone and giving a content alone to a wall, I can learn something. Maybe the wall will learn something, but it's not the same. But if I share, when I share with people, when I receive feedback, when I share with my colleagues, this is giving me the motivation about working harder, finding better contents, finding out my own care for people. I am care. I love to share. I love to take care about myself and about others. So I use these 11 weeks, 2 months in order to take care about myself, to take care about my physical state, about my well-being, and to share all this with other people. Because without the sharing it missed a bit for me. So this was the best insight. Okay, now I pass the word to Francesco. And what is your learning? What did you learn about during these weeks, and what is your takeaway?
Thank you for what you shared, first of all, because I think it is useful to underline the value of what you just said, which is, I think, something we all share in the process we had together, because it's something that really empowered the entire group, all of us. If I have to speak personally, my main learning outcome that I will bring with me for all my life from these is that in a period of potential stress and of huge disbalance in your daily and life routine, because coming from a period of a certain stability, we entered in a complete, as you said, mess. So for me, the main point has been to find a project to overcome a difficulty. So although my learning outcome can be all the things that I shared, because when you share something, you also have to interiorize that within yourself. I want to say that my learning outcomes is to build, to create partnerships, and to invest your time and your energy in projects you believe into. Because this has what Learn Well has been for me. So the ability and the opportunity to have a mission and a vision together in that kind of difficult situation can help your mind to work on something else, and at the same time figure out how to solve your personal problems, because obviously this situation brought unbalance and not wellness to all of us, to all of our lives, for economic reasons, for the reason that you couldn't go out. But I think we found a channel where to put our energy, our positivity, and our ideas, which is always fundamental in period of storm. That's my contribution.
Thank you for sharing. I act as a bit as a moderator because we are a lot. I pass the word to Joe. What is your learning during this whole experience?
Yes, so this journey that we shared together for me was the main source of inspiration during the past months and weeks, in which, due to this closeness of being alone in the house, so no routine, no external inputs, uh, just the ones that you can find for yourself. The inputs that we have shared in the group for me has been like the main food for thought and for the inner work. So I'm a person who loves to spend time in trying to understand myself and to investigate the processes that goes within my mind that brings me to certain patterns of habits of thinking, which then materialize in the concrete things that I do during my life. And especially during the days in quarantine, without these inputs, it would have been much more difficult to stay focused and to feel, let's say, refreshed every week with new inputs for reflection and to integrate into myself. So a lot of the things that we shared for me were quite new. So, or maybe I knew them, but I never had the opportunity before to implement them or to try to put them in practice in my daily life. So this has been so much enriching for me, giving me new tools for improving my lifestyle. For example, my favorite has been the week in which we talked about the time. So I think it was the second one, because during the quarantine, without a timetable set by outside and external to-do lists and duties to commit, it was very special to have the opportunity to try a way to master and to be the master of the time in a more wellness in a way to provide more wellness into the quality of our time spent on the day. So I'm very grateful for all of this and for all the things that all the activities gave me, and also for having the opportunities to share some of the, let's say, pillars that for me are the main energy to keep me higher and to keep my energy up. So this was the main for me: inspiration and inner work on myself, and also the pleasure to share what I could of my patients for the wellness of everyone.
Thank you for sharing. And I pass now the word to Francesca this time. What is your learning for this from this experience?
Yes. Well, you have already said a lot, and I can relate pretty much, of course, also because we were in this journey together. But what I would like to underline is especially the fact that what I noticed in this process, and which is also what I notice all the time, I deliver some content or I create a training, or even when I'm in one-to-one coaching with some clients, is that actually every time I'm in the position of, let's say, giving something, I'm actually receiving a lot. And I think that this is something that probably people who are in the other position are not so aware about. Meaning that sometimes when you feel like, okay, I go in this nice path of learning and I feel like I'm receiving something, but actually you that are now watching, that you have been following us, you gave myself for myself the possibility to learn really a lot. You create for me the space in order to expand.
No.
Oh no.
The
Oh,
internet
God.
connection.
I think we will also bring with us the fact that Francesca has an horrible connection for all our lives.
Unfortunately, yes.
Let's see if she will be back before the end. Thank you, Francesca, for what you were sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, Francesca is back.
There she is.
Okay. Francesca, you're again live.
Connect. Anyway, sorry. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Am I back?
Yes, it's going.
Okay, let's see. So what I was saying is that every time someone, like for me, it's giving and receiving as simply two faces of the same coin. So every time also there's someone who's thinking, I'm in this moment of getting something from someone else. It is not, because giving and receiving is always the same. And what we are creating is sharing energy. And so both of us.
Again. Okay. So again, waiting. I introduce now. Let's see if she will be back with this internet word. Yes. Oh, she's back. Let's try again.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Here we go. So I just close it. We are both learning. I also learn how to be patient with technology, but I still have to work a bit on it. Thank you everybody.
Thank you for sharing. And I pass now the word to Tony. He is the one who is working also behind. He is the president of New Wealth Education, and together with me and with other people, one of the founder. And it's doing all the job, all the work that is needed behind the screen, behind the table, behind the paper. So today is with us here to share also what are his own insights about this quarantine and this path that we are having together.
Yep. Yeah, working behind the curtains, and it's been something very unusual, especially in these weeks, in a sense that as the ones of you that know me, like I'm not that much used to work behind the curtains without popping up and say, hey, I'm here, look at me. So this is for sure one of the points that I can get out as a learning during these weeks. And I want to connect it a lot with the topic of this week, specifically, like learning to learn. So learning how to listen to myself in a way that, okay, now during these weeks, I decided that I want to be off the radars. I want to work behind the curtain, and I'm working on it. So this is one big learning for me, and I would say that it really worked, and it's been working. And I can take it out as a big learning. And obviously I can take it out as a big learning because there was someone working outside. Because if there is only someone working behind the curtains, where outside there is nothing visible. So there was someone else doing the job outside, which is the four of you, which I want to thank a lot for the work you did. And but before to go there, I want to also mention another learning which I had. And it's that from a small seed planted months and months ago, how with time, again connecting with maybe a bit more with Fabrizio's talking, how the plant slowly grows. And this plant, it seems, is it's growing somehow, and it grew also during the storm, which was during these 2 months. And it's beautiful to see it, especially while taking a moment from a bit far. Like it's like looking at the storm from a couple of kilometers away and see the small plants which is growing. It seems my magic. It's not magic. There is someone which is there taking care of the plant. And but yeah, the plant has grown during these months. And it seems it's gonna go even bigger soon with some new things that we're gonna put over there. But this, we'll talk about it later on. Anyhow, yeah. So yeah, these are my learnings, and I don't know. Yeah, we'll leave the thanking part for later, I think. So yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you for sharing. I want also to add a big thanks to all the guests that we have up until now.
Yes.
Because we build a structure, as I mentioned Wednesday, connect with the model of the Kolb cycle with experiential learning. We think about how to give content, how to build it experiential, how to build reflections. But also we were thinking about how to make it interactive, how to involve participants, how to have new contents. And we were really lucky that we have 10 guests, 10 people that decide during these weeks to give to us a bit of their time, to give to you, to give to all of us, to give to all this community a bit of their time, a bit of their energy, a bit of their words, their knowledges, and to share it with all of us. So the bigger part of these things is that it's a community. We are more than 1,000 people now. I hope that we will keep growing in the place where we are going to go. But without also you watching, you commenting, you asking questions, sharing your mission, sharing your thoughts, sharing your insights, proposing your own workshop, delivering it, inviting your own friends, this will not be happen. So I want to give a big, now virtual, as soon as I'm going to meet them, I believe also you, a big hug to all of the guests. And from my point of view, that's all. And about this, it's a bit of a closing chapter of a big book, the big book of education, the big book of wellness, that it's keep going. I think it's never ending. We are changing chapter. We are starting Monday with a new white page, chapter new. We're going to share more on Monday. And we wanted to have this moment all together to also give appreciation to all of you and to share what is our insight. To invite you that you're watching to take your own time to reflect, to see this quarantine, this path up until now as a starting point for something new. Doesn't have to be big, but it's a process that I like to call it stop, look, correct, take action. In our methodology, we do a lot. We see, okay, where I'm standing now, what is happening, how can I build a future in the direction that I want? Doesn't mean better or worse, there is no definition for that. The direction that I feel more useful for myself. Tony, you wanted to add more thanks?
No, you did it. It's enough.
Okay. Thank you, Francesco. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Francesca. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you for all the 1,000 people in the group, for the watcher, for the commenters, for everything, for everybody, for the universe. And let's keep making the education playful, fun, joyful, and let's keep working on the well-being and in that. Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Thank you.
See you.